The next phase in our video is for me to explain how to expand and how to reduce a fraction. Now, the process of expanding or reducing a fraction is very simple, or the processes of expanding and reducing fractions are very simple. Firstly, to expand a fraction, we understand that we must multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. For example, if we have a half, and I want to expand it to an equivalent fraction that has the same value as a half, what would I have to do is to multiply the numerator by a number. In this case, I'm multiplying by 3. So I multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. The equivalent fraction for a half, if it is expanded, it will be 3 upon 6. 3 upon 6 is the exact same value as a half. The only difference is that the numerator is 3 and the denominator is 6. But both fractions have the same value. Subsequent to that, the reduction of a fraction is the total opposite of the expansion. So instead of multiplying the numerator and the denominator by the same number, what we will do is just to divide. So we divide both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. In this case here, I will divide by 3 to get back my half. So 3 divided by 3 will give me 1 over 6 divided by 3, which will give me 2. So I use these two fractions to explain the concept. And the concept simply says this: to expand a fraction, you multiply both the numerator and the denominator by the same number, while for a reduction of a fraction or reducing a fraction, we divide both the numerator and the denominator by the same number. This next aspect of our video allows me now to explain how to use the operations with fractions. Now, there are 4 basic operations as was outlined in the previous videos. We know that they are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Now here, I'm going to explain how to use addition and subtraction when it comes to fractions. Now the concept remains the same whenever it is that you're doing addition and subtraction of fractions. And this is what the concept says. If it's the case that we're adding and subtracting fractions with the same denominator, for example, if we have 2 over 4 and we're adding that to 1 over 4, which is a quarter, if we have 2 over 4 plus 1 over 4, the concept says this. Now, when adding two fractions that have the same denominator, we simply add the numerator. So once we're adding or subtracting fractions that have the same denominator, we simply just add the numerator. Check this. So we have 4 and 4 as a denominator here. So because we have the same denominator, we let it remain. And then we simply add the numerator. 2 plus 1 gives us 3. So when we add 2 over 4 to 1 over 4, we get that to be 3 over 4. Now, the next part of the concept has to do with if we're adding two fractions. Let me use back 2 over 4 again. And this time I'm going to subtract 1 over 3 from that. Now, the aim here is for me to use the other operation, which is subtraction, to explain the same concept. Now, as well as to show you how to add or subtract fractions that have different denominators. Now, the concept says this: when you're adding and subtracting fractions with different denominators, we should always find what is called the LCM, which is the lowest common multiple, which is a number which is the smallest number, right, that the given numbers can go into without leaving a remainder. Let me repeat again. Whenever it is that we're adding or subtracting fractions with different denominator, we find the lowest common multiple, which is the lowest number that the given denominators or numbers can go into without leaving a remainder. Now, in this case, our LCM would be 12. Why? 12 is the lowest number that 4 and 3 can go into without leaving a remainder. Now, after we find the LCM, the concept says that we should expand these original fractions to the new common denominator of 12. We do that by expanding them by multiplying both denominators by a number that allows us to get this common denominator of 12. to get 12, we would multiply 4 by 3. So 4 3 is 12. But if we multiply the denominator by 3, we also have to do the same to the numerator. Why? Because we're expanding the fractions, right? Now, 2 3's give us 6, and we get 4 3's, we get 12. So we're on path. Now here, we multiply 3 by 4 to get 12. And if we did that, we must do the same for the numerator. So 4 1's 4. Then the original fractions would now expand to them being 6 over 12 and 4 over 12. And remember that we're minusing. And because we can minus now, we can subtract. We now take the numerator from the denominator. 6 minus 4 gives us 2. So the answer is 2 over 12. This fraction can now be broken down, meaning reduced, by finding the highest common factor, which would be 2. 2 into itself 1, 2 into 12 would go 6, therefore the answer is 1 over 6. And that's how you add or subtract fractions that have different denominators.